Have you ever wondered why, in an age of infinite information, we feel more spiritually isolated than ever before? You open your phone seeking connection, inspiration, or a sign from the universe, but instead, you find yourself trapped in a loop. Welcome to Lumen Peace. Today, we are not just talking about social media addiction, we are uncovering a spiritual crisis hiding in plain sight. There is a phenomenon occurring right now that is actively blocking your ability to hear the divine, and the terrifying part is that it feels exactly like spiritual growth. It is called the echo chamber effect, and it might be the reason your prayers feel like they are bouncing off the ceiling. Imagine walking into a vast, ancient cathedral. You expect to see stained glass, high arches, and other people seeking the truth. But instead, the moment you step inside, you realize the walls are lined with mirrors. Everywhere you look, you only see reflections of yourself. When you speak, you only hear your own voice echoing back. This is what modern algorithms have done to our spiritual journey. We think we are looking out into the world to find God or high vibrational energy or truth, but the algorithm is designed to show us only what we already agree with. It is a digital hall of mirrors. True spirituality has always required us to step into the unknown, to be challenged, and to sit with uncomfortable truths. It asks us to love our enemies and understand those who are different from us. But the echo chamber does the opposite. It feeds you content that validates your ego rather than challenging your soul. If you believe the world is dark and scary, your feed will prove it. If you believe you are always right and others are wrong, your feed will provide the evidence. You are no longer growing, you are rotting in a comfortable stagnation of your own biases. The danger is that we mistake this algorithmic validation for intuition. We think, I keep seeing this message, it must be a sign, when in reality, it's just code predicting what keeps your eyes on the screen. We are losing the capacity for silence. We are losing the ability to encounter the other, and without the ability to face the unknown, our spiritual connection withers. We become convinced that our tiny slice of the internet is the whole reality, creating division, judgment, and a hardening of the heart, the very things all great spiritual traditions warn us against. But you might be thinking, I control what I watch. I curate my feed. That is the greatest illusion of all. There is a specific psychological trigger, a mechanism deep inside your brain that the algorithm exploits to keep you trapped in this cycle without you even noticing. It is happening to you right now, and identifying it is the only way to break free. This psychological trigger is what neuroscientists call confirmation bias, but in the spiritual realm, it transforms into something far more dangerous. It becomes the dopamine of righteousness. When you scroll through your feed and see a post that aligns perfectly with your current worldview, your brain releases a hit of dopamine. It feels good. It feels like truth. You might say to yourself, yes, finally, someone understands, or I knew I was right. But here's the deception. That feeling of resonance is often confused with spiritual alignment. You are not vibrating at a higher frequency. You are simply being sedated by your own ego. The algorithm knows that if it shows you content that challenges you, you might close the app. If it shows you a perspective that requires you to practice patience or forgiveness, you might get bored. So it feeds you content that validates your grievances. It reinforces the idea that you are awake and everyone else is asleep. This creates a form of spiritual narcissism. We begin to believe that our specific timeline is the absolute reality. We stop seeing others as souls on their own complex journeys and start seeing them as caricatures, enemies to be blocked, unfollowed, or mentally canceled. This is the exact opposite of spiritual connection. True connection requires empathy, and empathy requires imagination, the ability to step outside of your own experience and see the world through another's eyes. The echo chamber kills imagination. It cements you in a rigid box of self-righteousness. You cannot hear the whisper of God if you are constantly shouting your own opinions back at yourself through the screen. We are trading the difficult, transformative work of the soul for the cheap, instant gratification of being told we are right. Furthermore, this constant validation makes us fragile. Because we are never exposed to opposing views in a healthy way, when we do encounter a real-life challenge or a person who disagrees with us, we crumble. We feel attacked. We interpret simple disagreements as toxic energy that must be removed, rather than opportunities for growth. We are building spiritual walls, not bridges. We think we are protecting our peace, but we are actually imprisoning our spirits. And while we sit inside these digital fortresses, believing we are safe, something vital is being drained from us. There is a specific type of fatigue that sets in when you live in an echo chamber, a weariness of the soul that sleep cannot fix. You have felt it, haven't you? That heaviness in your chest, even after hours of relaxing on your phone. That is not just eye strain, that is the sound of your intuition slowly going silent.
This exhaustion comes from a state of constant input. We have reached a point where we are terrified of the void. In almost every great spiritual tradition, connection with the divine happens in the wilderness, in the cave, in the silence. It is in the absence of noise that the still, small voice is heard. But the echo chamber abhors a vacuum. It demands to fill every second of your downtime with information, preventing you from ever entering that sacred space of solitude. We have forgotten the difference between being lonely and being alone. Solitude is a state of being where you are physically alone but spiritually connected to the whole. Loneliness is feeling separated from that whole. Ironically, the more we scroll to cure our loneliness, the more we destroy our capacity for solitude. When you are constantly plugged into the feedback loop, you are never truly present with your own soul. You are outsourcing your internal monologue to strangers. You stop asking, "How do I feel about this?" and start subconsciously asking, "How does the internet feel about this?" Your moral compass, which requires quiet reflection to calibrate, starts spinning wildly, magnetized by the strongest emotional current on your timeline. You become a vessel that is always full, but never nourished. You are consuming spiritual content, motivational quotes, and religious debates, but you are not digesting them. You are spiritually constipated with other people's revelations. This is why you feel stuck. You have all the knowledge, all the saved videos, all the hacks for a better life, but no movement. Real spiritual transformation requires integration, and integration happens in the pauses. The echo chamber steals your pauses. It steals the moments of boredom where creativity is born. It steals the moments of grief where healing happens. By rushing to distract ourselves from discomfort, we numb the very sensitivity required to feel the presence of God. We are trading the depth of the ocean for the chaos of a shallow pool. We are so busy watching others live their best lives or fight their spiritual battles that we have abandoned our own battlefield. We must recognize that this noise is a barrier. It is a static interference so loud that even if a miracle were standing right in front of you, you might miss it because you are looking down, waiting for the notification to tell you it is real. The connection you crave is not found in the next swipe. It is found in the terrifying act of stopping. But stopping is not as simple as just putting the phone down. The addiction goes deeper than the device. There is a specific mental rewiring we need to perform to reclaim our sovereignty. There is a way to exist in the digital world without being consumed by it, a method to shatter the mirrors and see reality again.
To break the glass of the echo chamber, you must engage in what we call sacred friction. The algorithm wants you smooth, predictable, and compliant. To reconnect with the divine, you must become jagged. You must become a glitch in the system. This requires a radical shift in behavior. You must intentionally seek out the things that do not validate you. This is not about arguing with strangers in comment sections. It is about exposing your spirit to the other with an open heart. If you're a believer, read the doubts of the skeptic, not to defeat them, but to understand them.
If you're a deeply scientific, listen to the mystic without cynicism. Growth only happens at the point of resistance. Just as a muscle needs weight to tear and rebuild stronger, your spiritual connection needs the weight of opposing perspectives to deepen. When you only consume content that agrees with you, your spiritual muscles atrophy. You become weak. But when you can hold space for a truth that is not your own without feeling threatened, you step out of the hall of mirrors and into the real world. You begin to see the divinity in the complexity of life rather than the simplicity of the algorithm. This is the discipline of disagreement. It is the spiritual practice of remaining peaceful when your worldview is challenged. We must also reclaim the practice of deep work for the soul. This means engaging with long-form content, books, or silence, things that cannot be swiped away. We have to retrain our brains to tolerate boredom. In that boredom, the sediment of your mind settles, and the water becomes clear again. You will find that when you stop reacting to the constant digital stimuli, your own intuition, that direct line to the divine, starts to ring again. You stop looking for signs on a screen and start feeling the guidance in your gut. This is a battle for your attention, which is the most valuable currency you have. Whatever you pay attention to grows. If you pay attention to the echo chamber, your ego grows. If you pay attention to the silence and the challenge, your soul grows. But be warned, the moment you try to pull away, the pull of the digital world will become stronger. It will feel like you are missing out. It will feel like isolation. But remember, the seed must be buried in the dark soil of isolation before it can break through to the light. You are standing at the threshold of reclaiming your mind. But there is one final critical piece of the puzzle. There is a specific mindset shift, a master key that locks this freedom into place forever, ensuring you never fall back into the trance. Without it, you will eventually return to the scroll. The master key to escaping the echo chamber is a fundamental shift in your identity. You must stop being a consumer and start being a vessel. The trap of social media is that it positions you as a hungry ghost, endlessly scrolling to get something, to get inspired, to get validated, to get entertained. As long as you are in the posture of taking, you are susceptible to the algorithm's manipulation. It knows what you want, and it controls you by giving it to you in small doses. But the moment you decide to give, the dynamic changes instantly. You regain your power. True spiritual connection is an outflow, not an inflow. The divine energy is not something you hoard, it is something that must move through you. When you pick up your phone, ask yourself, am I here to extract dopamine or am I here to extend light? If you enter the digital space with the intention of being a vessel, to leave a kind comment where there is hate, to share truth where there is confusion, or to simply observe without judgment, you are no longer a victim of the echo chamber. You are a light within it. You cease to be a reflection in the mirror and become the candle that illuminates the room. This shift breaks the trance because it requires consciousness. You cannot be a passive vessel. By choosing to serve rather than consume, you reconnect with the source of that service. You realize that the phone is just a tool, a neutral object of glass and silicon. It has no power over your soul unless you surrender that power. The connection you have been frantically searching for in the endless scroll was never on the screen. It was waiting for you to look up, to breathe, and to realize that you are not separate from the miracle of existence. You are the miracle. The blockage was never the technology, it was the forgetting of who you are. So turn off the notifications that do not serve you. Unfollow the voices that only feed your ego. Step out of the hall of mirrors and walk into the open air of reality. Your spiritual connection is resilient, it is waiting, and it is right here, right now, in the silence you are about to create. If this message helped you see through the illusion, help us break the algorithm for others. By liking this video, you signal to the system that this is a conversation worth sharing, helping someone else escape their own echo chamber. And if you are ready to continue this journey of inner strength and spiritual clarity, subscribe to Lumen Peace. We are building a community that values depth over noise. Thank you for watching, and may you find the peace that surpasses all understanding.